Welcome to Brag Radio, which is all about being rich and generous. Every week, your host, Kandas, and best-selling author Larry Goins will show you how to be rich and generous by investing in real estate. Broadcasting around the world on the Brag Radio Network from the flagship station WBT in beautiful uptown Charlotte, here are your hosts, the rock stars of real estate, Kandas and Larry.
What's happening? How's everybody doing?
How are you?
Doing good. I forgot this is not live. People can't respond back. I'm like, how's everybody doing?
It's not like a stage, is it?
Right?
With their clappers like they do at the event.
With their what?
The clappers that they shake at the events.
The Larry clappers. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yep.
That's awesome. I love it. I love it. So what's been going on? How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing excellent, excellent. If it's your first time listening to the show out there, this is Brag Radio Network, leading the world to be rich and generous. We teach people how to invest in real estate, and then we encourage you to go out there and brag, be rich and generous, right?
Really be generous wherever you are right now, because if you don't give when you have a little, you won't give when you have a lot.
That's true. I remember Jim Rohn, who is one of my favorite trainers. He's known as the father of philosophy. Jim Rohn used to say, it's best that you start giving when the amounts are small, because if you don't, you won't be giving when the amounts are large. Does that make sense?
Yep.
It does?
It does to me.
Good. That's awesome. That's awesome. So you can go back and listen to previous episodes of Brag at bragradio.com, right?
Yes, you sure can. All of our episodes are up on bragradio.com.
That's absolutely right. That's right, Kandas. Just trying to fill in the dead space there when you stop talking.
You guys can keep emailing me to info@bragradio as well. We get some really good questions. We, if you haven't sent an email into there before, we will go ahead and answer your questions, and then we may bring it up on the air as well, because 9 times out of 10, you're not the only one that has that same question.
That's true. That is true. So, what are we going to talk about this week?
HUD.
HUD. We're talking about HUD this week.
I think we should talk about HUD.
We actually got 4 HUD deals this past week. Usually we might get 1 or 2, maybe sometimes 3, but we got 4 HUD deals this past week.
4. Dun, dun, dun.
I mean, listen, one of them was listed for $262,000. We simply bid 50%.
50%.
$131,000. Boom.
50%.
Got it. Done. Booyah, baby.
He's on a roll with these today, Chad.
But it wasn't your first bid, I bet.
No, it wasn't. See, the cool thing about HUD is you got to bid every single day, right?
To some people, that's annoying. To us, it's cool. You caught that, right? Like, to some people, it's like, oh, my gosh, I got to submit this today. But, yeah, that's
if
the way we
if
work.
they would have accepted their first bid, then your bid would have been too
high.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
Chad
right.
is learning some stuff.
He pays
up in
attention.
Here.
You think he's texting. I think he's taking notes.
I don't know. I see him. He's searching on YouTube for videos to watch later.
I think he searches some songs to play for you during the breaks, too, though.
Maybe so.
Yeah.
So what we really wanted to do was have kind of a two-parter, right?
A two-parter.
Well, I got to get my Candaceism out here. Just to make sure you don't make fun of me, right?
Why?
So
why you got to pull up something? Why
you're making fun of me already? A two-parter.
A two-parter.
Right?
Yeah, that's right.
A two-parter?
I know it's right.
Is
It's
that
just
good?
funny
Okay.
in his southern accent. We got a two-parter coming up here.
All right.
What's the first part?
Well, the first part is I wanted to go through why I like HUD, right? Why I like HUD, the benefits.
Why I like HUD.
Why I like HUD. A HUD house, right?
Now, do we need to explain the difference between HUD, the way we're referring to, and HUD Section 8?
Well, Section 8 is a rental program where if you have a rental property, right, and you want to have a Section 8 tenant, HUD will subsidize the tenant's rent. And sometimes they pay 100%, sometimes they pay 90%, or all but $50, or all but $100, or whatever, right? HUD will pay the majority of their rent, and that's what's called a Section 8 tenant, right?
Right.
Does that make sense?
Now, what we're talking about with HUD is
a foreclosed house where someone had an FHA loan. Right?
Right.
Where someone had an FHA loan.
And the government took it back.
That's exactly
now
right.
the government is trying to get rid of it.
That's true. That's true. Now, HUD does not make loans; they insure loans.
Right.
Right. They don't make the loans. You get an FHA loan at say Bank of America or Wells Fargo or Chase or something, and then a portion of the payment goes for an insurance premium like PMI, private mortgage insurance, or whatever. And then if the borrower defaults, then the bank contacts HUD and says, "Hey, I want my money back." Right.
Yep.
We've been paying you these premiums every month. I want my money back, right? It's like their insurance policy.
Is exactly what it is.
So then when they get then HUD buys that loan, and then HUD has to foreclose on that property, right? Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of advantages to HUD, and I want to kind of go through those, on this show, because there are many, many, many advantages to buying a HUD house.
So are the advantages to buying a HUD house why you love them?
It's one of the reasons that I love them. It's also the model or the way you buy them. For example, with HUD, let me back up a little bit.
Back it on up.
With any type of real estate, okay? Typically. All right. With any type of real estate.
You almost made me lose my sweet tea, Chad.
Your sweet tea?
Yes, chicken filet.
Chick-fil-A.
Chicken
Chick-fil-A.
filet. That's what Morgan used to say.
Really?
Yeah.
That's funny. So anyway, typically in buying and selling real estate, you've got a market to find deals, right?
Right.
Well, the cool thing about HUD is there's no phone calls. You're not calling a seller. You're not calling the agent. You're not inquiring, getting a lot of information. There's no negotiating going back and forth because all bids.
But that's your favorite part.
I know, but
you love the negotiating.
And that's true, but there's plenty of other sources of properties that you can negotiate with, right? There's plenty of other ones, but with HUD, it's all done online. You simply submit a bid at HUDHomestore.com. That's the only place you can bid on a HUD house is HUDHomestore.com. So there's no phone calls. There's no negotiating. There's no direct mail. See, a lot of people are doing direct mail to be able to get deals, which basically means you're sending out letters and postcards to absentee owners, meaning somebody who owns a house but they don't live in the house. Maybe they already live out of state. That can potentially be a don't want her. Probate is another direct mail list, right?
He puts an ER on the end of everything.
What?
Parter, don't want her.
A real estater. I'm a real estater.
Exactly like that.
All right.
Who's the squirrel today? I cannot pay attention for anything right now.
I know what's going on with you.
I don't know.
I
just want to, for some reason, I just want to antagonize you.
Wow. And how's that working out for you?
Pretty good. Look, you're distracted.
Apparently. So some other benefits of HUD is, you don't have to do outside marketing. There's no direct mail. There's no pay-per-click advertising. You don't have to do Facebook marketing. You don't have to go put out bandit signs. You don't have to hire bird dogs or property locators. There's no advertising. Basically no expenses. Everything is done at HUDHomestore.com. Right, Kandas?
That's right, Larry.
That's funny. And it actually, HUD, quite frankly, now, you're not going to use HUD as your sole source of properties, okay?
No, there's not that many.
It's just one. I tell people keep 5 to 10 different methods of getting deals going at any given time, right? But
to keep your deal flow
HUD
up,
is the easiest, fastest, safest, secure, shortest, no-risk way to get deals right now in today's market.
Liar. I'm just kidding.
Sure would be nice if somebody would have written a book about HUD, wouldn't it?
You know what? That's a great idea.
Chad, you are on top of things today, too. I'm slipping. You guys are up the bar with this show, first segment today.
Kandas, tell them how to get a free copy of HUD Homes.
Have you read it, Chad?
I don't have it.
Yes, you do.
I do not.
Do you know how to get it?
You haven't come by the office for a tour.
I have not.
Lynn came by the office for a tour. She has a copy of both of the books. Which you guys can do, too. If you give me a call, schedule an office tour, 877-LARRY-GO. You can schedule a tour, come by, pick up the physical kit like Lynn did, or I can send you the digital kit to your email address, 877-LARRY-GO, or also text the word BRAG to 803-897-6063. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Brag Radio. This is Kandas and Larry.
What's happening?
He's playing air guitar. Those of you that are watching us, you can see what he's doing. For those of you listening, it just sounds like dead air, Mr. Sir.
Right. Well, if you're listening live, you don't see us because we're not streaming it, but we do record it. So
we
you
don't
can
have
go
that.
to
That's
Brag
not a
Radio.
capability of our studio here.
It's not in our wheelhouse.
That's because we are
gotta
radio.
We gotta
There you go.
move to a bigger studio across the hall.
What you have to do is you have to go to bragradio.com and watch the streaming there. Watch the
Nobody
videos,
streams.
the archives.
So all of these DJs here, show talent here, nobody streams.
Sometimes.
Yeah, see, we're just in the wrong little booth
We're in the wrong little booth.
to be able to stream. We don't
Maybe.
have a soundboard with the little sound effect things. We don't have the caller
I got
capability.
my own sound effects.
Of course you do. I don't know that
Apparently.
they want to hear them.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to hear them.
Yeah. All right. I don't know what happened. This is obviously a free, cheap sound effect because the only thing coming up is a game right now.
So this is Brag, Be Rich and Generous. We use real estate, and that's what we can teach you how to do as well. That's been our avenue for both rich and generous. That's right, Kandas.
That's exactly right, Kandas. Good
So-
job. Good job.
We have been we've been talking about HUD. Well, the first segment we started talking about HUD, and while Larry loves HUD houses, you want to let him know a little bit of that?
Yeah.
What are you
Yeah.
doing?
Also, if you're just watching us, be sure and follow us on
You're
social
touching
media.
the spot. You're touching the spot.
Okay. Chad, you guys are going to have to. Do you guys have housekeeping over here? Someone left something sitting on my corner over here. And I'm like standing closer to Kandas now because.
He's crowding me.
What are
He's
you-
crowding me.
Okay, I'm just going to cover it up with this little tissue thing.
It's like on
Set
Big Daddy.
something
Instead
up.
of cleaning up the milk or the glue, he just covers it up with newspaper.
Hey, well, it's already dried up, whatever it is. Yeah. When does housekeeping come
So
by?
Larry's a germaphobe, for those of you that don't know. The best way to get him is to, just
No.
talk about spores in the air or dirtiness of things that he's going to touch.
Nassness. All right, so
Anyway, back to HUD.
be sure and follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/Larry H. Goins. And you can follow us there and get updates. All of our Brag episodes are also posted there as well, on video and audio as well. So we're talking about HUD houses, some of the benefits of HUD houses, the reason that I like HUD houses. We talked about there's no phone calls, there's no negotiating, no direct mail, no bandit signs, no marketing, no advertising, no expenses. And we also talked about that all HUD houses are bid on at this website, HUDHomestore.com. HUDHomestore.com. Okay. Now, some of the other benefits that I really like is with HUD is most of them are already listed below market. Okay. That's another benefit. Most of them are already listed below market. Now, I've actually, we did a deal a little while back where we actually paid more than list price for the property. More than list price for the property.
Well, sometimes people do that with its MLS properties too.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens on every platform when you're trying to buy deals. Sometimes you do buy a little bit above what it's listed for.
Yeah, and sometimes you can pay more, and because it's already listed low enough. Okay, so we had a deal a little while back where it was listed for 40 something, and we paid 45. We actually paid 103% of list price, and we sold that house. And how much did we make on that deal?
Which one?
There you go. That's my whole point,
Trying
right
to
there.
get me to put my phone down.
I
I'm
know.
sorry, I'm working. People are calling me and
Well,
texting
put your
me to
phone
get the
down.
book.
Put your phone down.
Ugh.
Should do like.
I love you guys, but I can't talk to you whenever we're on the air.
Yeah, like jury duty. I had jury duty this past week, and jury duty.
See, look, there's another person.
Yeah, just turn your phone
Tampa.
over. Turn
I
it
can't.
over.
I want to talk to him.
Turn it over. So anyway, I had jury duty. Right? I know I'm getting off track, but they don't let you take your phone in. They do not let.
I
you
bet
take your
you
phone
were
in.
dying, weren't you?
Oh man, I was every once in a while I'd think I want to write this down. I want to take a note. I just thought of something, and I couldn't do that because they don't let you take your phone in there.
I would not want you on a jury with me or for me.
Why?
Because your brain's not going to be in what's happening.
What if you killed someone?
Your brain is not going to be in there, in the courtroom.
Yeah, it was.
No, it wasn't.
Let me tell you something. That is a racket, okay? We show up. We had to be there on time.
System.
There were several jurors that were late. We had to wait on them. They had no penalty or anything for being late. Then we get in there. Some attorneys that were driving from Columbia, South Carolina.
I know.
We're an hour and a half late. And
it couldn't start without them.
If it was me, if I ran the courtroom, I would say, okay, you guys got to pay for there were 86 jurors, a pool of 86 jurors to pull from. I'd say you got to pay for this court, wasting all this court's time. And then, of course, the judge was at another courtroom across town, so he didn't get there until 11. Then they call roll. Then they have to eliminate all the people that can't read, that can't write, that are over 65, under 18.
Why can't you be over 65?
You can't. Well, if you're over 65, they give you the option. You can opt out and say, I don't want to do it, right? But there were a lot of people there over 65.
Oh, you're going to be so happy whenever you turn 65. You're going to be opting out every time you get called.
I would, absolutely. But, and then finally, 11 o'clock, the judge gets there. They go through the roll call, and then the judge says, okay, we're going to take a recess, come back at 2. This was at 11:40. Come back at 2 o'clock. We get there at 2. The judge walks out at 2:15, right, and says, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to guys go ahead and take off for the rest of the day. Just call the number, and we'll let you know what time to be here. So I called the number at 7 o'clock that night, and they said, all cases have been settled. Your service is no longer needed.
So I wonder when you
everybody's
re-up.
time.
I know.
If it was me, I would make a rule that all cases had to be settled within 7 days of trial date. If not, you're going to trial. If not, you're going to pay court cost, right?
Why don't you run? Why don't you run with that motto?
I ain't running for nothing. I got too much of a jaded past to run for anything.
You do not have a jaded past.
I'm just
You're
kidding.
going to make people think bad about you. Jaded
know, right?
past. That's why I can't run.
Well, you do have a point.
Whatever. Why don't I get the same? What happened to that? Why not? Oh, Candace, no, you're just being silly now. You just go right along with it when it's me.
I was just agreeing with you.
Whatever.
Okay, let's get back to I paid over 100% of list price. Okay, that's
103%.
103% of list price. House is listed for 44 something. HUD house, and remember we were talking about most houses are listed below list.
Right.
This one, it was listed for 44 something, and we paid 45 something, like I don't know, 103% of list price. And we bought that property and we sold it for $89,900, and we didn't touch it. We did not even touch this property.
Which we don't touch any of them anymore. And y'all learned a couple weeks ago about why we don't do that, the Liberty property.
This was a fix and flip without the fix.
Yeah.
Right? We made $38,000 on this house. And we turned around and sold it and did nothing to it. Absolutely nothing. Right?
You know, we had a student. I listened to one of the calls the other day. I randomly, we'll go back and listen to our guys on the phone with students just to, see what they're saying. And so one of our guys was telling a student that had called in, this is what we do all the time. And he almost couldn't fathom the thought of being able to make money on a property that we don't touch because he had been rehabbing for so long.
Or you don't see. The cool thing I love,
crazy.
I love it when the light bulb goes off with students. Wait a minute, I just bought and sold a house in Alabama and I live in California. Wow, I'm going to do this again. I didn't know it was so easy.
They don't see it.
I know, right? Now, when we come back from the break, I'm going to talk about some more HUD benefits. I'm going to go through what a PCR is and why it's absolutely imperative that you take a look at this before you put a bid in on a property, okay?
And the P in PCR does not mean imperative.
Imperative. Yeah. Be sure and call Kandas right now, 877-LARRY-GO, and ask for a free copy of HUD Homes Half Off, the book, as well as some other things that are in the investor's kit, right?
Yes, both books. It's the HUD Homes Half Off book, Real Estate Day Trading. There are some CDs, some DVDs, things like that. If you're getting a digital version, which you are more than welcome to do by just calling 877-LARRY-GO. It will come with links to our additional trainings. You can also text the word BRAG, B-R-A-G, to 803-897-6063. Welcome back to Bragg Radio.
Leading the world to be rich and generous, live from Uptown Charlotte in the
What's
beautiful
going on?
studios.
What are you doing? Is that your favorite part, Chad? Or is it Larry's favorite part?
Yeah, baby.
You get the guitar face on when you're playing that
Love
part.
some Van Halen.
On the air guitar. Chad, look at his, that's his triangle face.
You're right. That's funny.
Look at it.
Yeah, baby.
Bless. Oh, my gosh.
You'll
these
have to go back
boys.
and watch the video.
You can't see Chad, though.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Well,
This is priceless.
sometimes we turn the camera around.
Yeah, but
and
not when
shine
he's
it on
doing
him.
the triangle.
And shine it on him.
Shine the light on him.
We need to start
Let
putting it
your
maybe
light
up
shine.
there. We should put it up there, like aiming this
Ooh,
way.
so they can see all of us.
Yeah, that would be
Yes.
good.
That's
Chad
an
don't want-
excellent idea.
Chad don't want
and
that.
Lynn coming in here to remove the spot.
Yes, we are on the air. Man, don't leave this thing right here. You got to finish that.
You know he is a big baby. I can't believe you
Some
went and
kind
got
of
the thing
nasty
to.
residue.
You can, oh my gosh.
Oh, thank you, Lynn.
Diva. Diva is the word
Lynn is awesome.
four-letter word I'm looking for.
Lynn is awesome. Thank you. Now she's just like cleaning everything. That's like my 2-year-old
Oh, it
granddaughter.
smells fresh and citrusy in here now.
It really does, doesn't it?
Yes.
I like that. Good. Okay, so today we're talking about the benefits of HUD. Why I like HUD houses so much.
Why
right?
he like them so much.
And we've bought HUD houses as cheap as 20% of list price,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we got 4 HUD houses just this week. Just this week we got 4 deals. Now we did kick one of them back. We threw one of them back, but we you can see where she's been cleaning everything over there. Wow. That's funny. Anyway. So,
Why did we throw it back?
well, it wasn't as good a deal as we thought it was. And even still, we got it at like 60% of list price. But it wasn't
So
as
are we
good of a
gonna?
deal.
Are we just gonna go back and renegotiate, or not renegotiate? Because you don't renegotiate with HUD, but reevaluate and then start our bids lower?
Yeah, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to,
Well, then tell the people what we're gonna do.
at least I'm not on my phone.
My
right?
phone is down. If you're watching, you can see.
Yeah.
I put it down.
So anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to lower our bid and see if they accept the next bid, right? Since we didn't send in our deposit like we're going to close,
Right.
then they understand, well, maybe it's not as good a deal as as they thought it was. So, we're going to continue to make offers lower.
Now,
right?
with the way that we, I'm sorry, I want to just talk about this for a second. But with the way that we make a HUD bid on every HUD house in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia every day, how did we not know when our initial bids were going in that we needed to be lower?
You'll have to ask Andrea that question.
I know the
She is
answer
our-
to that question.
She is our HUD girl, right?
She is our
So,
HUD muffin. So I will tell you, though, that I do know our HUD bids are put on an automatic percentage, right?
Well, yes
From-
and no.
from-
When we first start out,
Right.
yes.
That's what I mean.
However, once you get your HUD bids going, then we put a specific number on each property.
After an evaluation of it. Right.
After an evaluation of it,
Right.
and which she should be past that evaluation point on everything and putting a specific number on every property, right?
Yes.
So,
Just want to let the people know.
Right. So one of the other benefits that I love about HUD is HUD always provide what's called a PCR. That stands for Property Condition Report. Now, the cool thing about a PCR is now HUD, when they foreclose on a property, they hire what's called an asset manager, just like the banks do. The asset manager, it's their job to dispose of the property, to sell the property, right? So they hire what's called field service reps, and the field service reps will go out and winterize the house. They'll put the stickers in the window. They'll, put the stripes and stuff or the tape and stuff over the toilets and the sink so nobody uses it or pours water in there, and change the locks and all that good stuff, right?
Right.
So one of the things that these field service reps do for HUD houses, this is only specific to HUD, is they go out and they fill out a form and do what's called a PCR, Property Condition Report. Now, I'm going to be the first one to tell you it's not always 100% accurate. Okay?
Nothing is.
Now, I've seen it to where it's both ways, though. I've seen it to where, they said the property needed something and it really didn't. And then I've seen it to where they said it didn't need something and it did, right? But the great thing about the PCR is it gives you all of the major items, right? For example, HVAC, heating and cooling system, okay? That's at the top of the list. They're going to let you know. They're going to test it. They're going to let you know if it's operable, and they're going to let you know what worked or what didn't work. The next thing they're going to check is the wiring, right? They're going to go around and they're going to, even though the power is off, okay, they're going to hook up a generator to it or a tester. I don't know what it is. Anyway, they hook up a thing so they can test and make sure that all of the wiring works, right? So the wiring, that's the second thing. The next thing they check is all of the appliances, the stove, the range, oven, everything, dishwasher, and even the kitchen cabinets, right? They're going to check and see if all that stuff is there or operable, right? The next thing they're going to check for is the plumbing. They're going to check and make sure all the plumbing works. They're going to test it, check it, and make sure
like in the bathrooms and in the kitchen.
Yeah, they're going to check the drains to make sure the toilets flush, all the sinks drain, and they're going to check the pressure on the plumbing to see if it holds pressure, right? Like a lot of times you might see something like held 35 PSI. That's per square inch.
Now, they
pressure.
don't test the hot water heater, do they? They just test to make sure there's water.
Actually, they do check all of the I don't want to call them utilities, but they do check just about everything except you're absolutely right. They do not check specifically the hot water heater. Sometimes it depends. It depends. I've seen some that do, and I've seen some that don't. Like on the house that we talked about in the previous segment, that house, we had to replace the hot water heater before we closed.
But it was there. The hot water heater was there, and it was noted on the PCR that it was there. But when was it the buyer that did the inspection? The buyer's lender actually did the inspection. That's who figured out that the hot water heater, it didn't actually heat the water. So that's when we had to replace it. That's exactly right. Yeah. That's exactly right. Now, do they go as far as to test the shower head versus just the water coming on at the base? Like in the tub? Well, what do you mean by test the shower head? You know how if you have like the bathtub with the shower, it's not separate? So do they test the shower head as well, or they just make sure there's water? They're going to test to make sure everything holds pressure. Okay. So they're going to put pressure at one end where it comes into the house, where the water comes in. They're going to put pressure there, and then they're going to go seal up everything else while they're doing their inspection. And then they're going to check and see if they're going to put 35 PSI per square inch of pressure on it, and then they're going to do the rest of their inspection, and then they're going to come back and see, does it still hold 35 PSI? Gotcha. Right? Okay. That's what they do, right? So next thing is they do check the water heater most of the time. Remember I told you on one of our previous deals. So for the most part, they do check the water heater and any other appliances or HVAC or whatever. And those are all noted on the report. With they actually note them with the functionality. Is it functioning? And with the is yes it okay? Or no. It's yes really or no? Easy to read. It is. You're looking at one now. I am. Well, you have it pulled up to be able to go over specifics with them. So it's definitely easy to read, and just condition is okay or... Exactly. And then the last two things that they're going to check is the roof and the septic system, okay? Now, they're going to check the septic system, whether it's on a septic system or it's city sewer, whatever. They're going to check that to make sure it works, and they're going to check to make sure the roof doesn't leak, or if there's any signs of leak, they're going to crawl up in the attic and look. So they do crawl up in the attic?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, they're gonna check it out. And guys, those are the main things that you see in a PCR, right? That's the biggest things in a house. Call
That is the
Kandas and
biggest
get a
thing.
free copy of the book, HUD Homes Half Off, right?
Yep, it talks about it. In addition to that book, you'll get the real estate day trading book, 877-LARRY-GO, 877-LARRY-GO, or text the word BRAG to 803-897-6063. Today with Bragg, we've been talking about HUD houses.
HUD
Bragg
houses.
Radio, investing in real estate to be rich and generous, most generous.
Exactly. Be sure and follow us on Facebook.com/Larry H. Goins, right?
What's the H stand for?
I don't know. You tell me.
HUD. Tell him, Chad.
That's right.
The HUD guy, Larry, HUD guy Goins.
He wrote the book on it.
He did write the
Hey,
book on it.
Literally.
No,
Get you one.
Too bad we don't
you one.
have some other. We need to come up with another acronym and with his name for day trading too. We'll work on that. Well, let's work on that, Chad.
Okay.
We'll
That's
work on
another
that.
book you can get by calling Kandas. Getting Started in Real Estate Day Trading, How to Buy and Sell Houses the Same Day Using the Internet. We've done it in 12 different states, and you can too.
Right, yep. You can schedule a tour to come in and meet everybody and pick up the physical kit, or I can send the digital kit to your email address. You're so weird. Will you stop? I'm glad people can't see all of it. I apologize to these people that can see us, but I'm so glad like all of our listeners can't see you misbehaving
I'm
over
just
here.
glad Lynn cleaned up this residue over
smart.
here. So I'm
And if
okay
you
now.
have any questions about today's show, if you've been driving and not able to take notes or anything, you can check out bragradio.com for the show notes, or send me an email to info@bragradio.com.
There you go. And we're talking about the benefits of HUD houses. I love buying HUD houses. I am known as a HUD guy and wrote the book on it. And we buy and sell a lot of HUD houses. We actually got 4 offers accepted this week. Usually it might be 1 or 2, sometimes 3, but we actually had 4 offers accepted this past week.
I know Andrea was so excited.
I know, right? Even though we threw one of them back, it's okay. One of them was listed for $262. We picked it up for $131. Another one was listed for like $130 or $40 something. I think we picked it up for $70 or $80.
I think it was 75 or something. Yeah.
Yeah, and then another one was listed like just under $200, and we picked it up for like $110 or $111 or something. So yeah, these are great fix and flip properties. Now, we don't do fix and flips,
No, we do not.
so call Kandas and find out how you can buy it and you can fix and flip it. Because
Yeah.
all we
Ask
want to
me
do is
how I know.
all we want to do is make a quick $10,000 or $15,000 on it and move it on to somebody else that can make 30% on it. Right.
Right. Yeah. We want it to be a win-win for everybody. So it's not like we're in this to make, like we were talking about earlier, $38,000 on every property. Sometimes our formula works out and the ARV's there.
That was a retail property.
To where we can sell it to a homeowner that's going to move into it. But we really just want to keep them off the books, in and out.
That's right. That's exactly right. So there are a lot of HUD benefits. We've gone over. Most of them are listed below retail. They provide a PCR or property condition report. The next thing we want to talk about is they've been cleaned out.
That's the best part. I don't mind going and looking at when I have to go sign one of our HUD properties or go do like an analysis of the the area and take pictures and things like that of the HUD
Right.
ones. I don't ever mind those. The MLS ones are a little sketchy, but
Well, I've never, ever, ever been into a trashed HUD house.
Right.
Never been into a trashed HUD house. Right?
Yeah.
There just aren't any. The asset manager sends a field service rep out, and that's part of what they do. If the people left furniture, if they left clothes, if they left trash in and around the house, it's even the storage buildings are cleaned out, and they have a new padlock on them. Right?
yeah, no
Even-
smellies, no smells.
Well, that's
and
the
smells get to me.
That's the next thing, Kandas, is if the house smells bad, they remove the carpet. They go ahead and do that. They take all the carpet out.
I know. Ask me how I know.
That's
Call
funny.
me 877-LARRY-GO and ask me how I know. I've been in several
100.
hundred of these houses. I was going to say, I didn't want to say several tens of these houses, but
Yeah, several tens.
yeah, hundreds of these houses.
That's
always,
funny.
and smells get to me too. So no smells is a very good thing for me.
Well, it used to bother me when I first got into investing, but I heard somebody say, I believe it was Alan Thompson, the founder of Metrolineria. He said, "There's bucks in the yucks." It's like a nasty, smelly house.
That's the
There's
quote of
money
the
in
day.
that.
That is the quote of the day. There's bucks in the yucks.
That was
I'm
pretty
writing
cool.
that
Huh?
down.
That was a good one. But, it's, and I heard somebody say one time, we went into a nasty house and they said, "Smell that?" I'm like, yeah, that's the
Smells
smell
like
of money.
money.
That's the smell
I've
of
heard
money
that
right
one.
there.
Yeah,
Right?
you said that when we've gone to look at a few together. You've said that to me. That's where I heard it.
It's true. It is true.
Gosh.
So, I know, right?
Yeah.
So they've removed the carpet. They've been cleaned out. The next thing is you can buy them at a discount. I mean, that kind of goes without saying, but you can buy them at a discount, right? Even at a deep, deep discount. Like I mentioned, we buy a lot of HUD houses, 60, 50, 40, 30. I've even bought a couple of them at 20% of list price.
And the thing is, okay, so we buy a lot of these in North and South Carolina. We've been one of the leading HUD buyers in the state for several years, but that doesn't mean that we get priority over anybody else to bid or to buy.
No.
It doesn't, just because we've closed on more than the next guy doesn't give us any kind of clout or anything with HUD to get better discounts or deeper discounts or anything like that. It's all just based on what their bottom line for the property.
They could care less
They
about us.
don't care who we are.
Yeah.
We should get an award of something for taking all these off their hands, but we don't.
And a lot of people say, "Larry, why are you teaching your competition?"
A holiday, a hug, maybe. I don't
know, right?
Something.
Well, a lot of people do say, why are you teaching your competition? Well, the sad truth is most people aren't going to follow through anyway.
Well,
right?
yeah, not only that, but, I mean, everybody's so diverse in what they're looking for. We have a very specific model.
That's true.
And we have a very specific formula. And everybody doesn't have to have that same formula to make ends meet.
That
Look,
is
you
so
guys
true.
are just blowing up my phone.
That is so
I will
true.
call you and get you the investor's kit as soon as we are off the air.
Yeah, don't discourage people not to call.
No,
right?
call me. Blow it up. I just can't talk to you right now.
All right, so the next thing I want to talk about as far as benefits is there's no deed restrictions. Now, this is a big one, Kandas, right? There's no deed restrictions.
No deed restrictions.
None.
Huge.
Now, what does that mean?
It's huge.
That means now there's some sellers out there, some banks like Fannie Mae, and I believe that is HomePath. If you buy a house through HomePath, you can't sell that house, right, for more than I believe it's 10% profit in the first 90 days. So anyway, with HUD, you could buy a house at 10 o'clock and then have your closing to sell it lined up at 10:30. And you could buy it for $5,000 and sell it for $50,000. HUD doesn't care.
And see, and that's merging a little bit of our other strategy that's in the other book that people get too of real estate day trading.
Yeah.
It's
Buying and
merging a
selling
little
the
bit.
same day.
Yep. It merges a little bit of the two together. And you'll find that, I think, across all of our trainings is negotiating aside from HUD is the same whether you're going to, the end strategy is Filthy Riches or Ultimate Buying and Selling Machine, or in, people that don't know those courses and haven't listened to us before, the exit strategy being seller finance or lease option or wholesaling.
That's
They cross
exactly
over.
right. That's exactly right.
What are you doing?
I'm looking up another website. I'm looking up another a website here that I wanted to share. Now, remember, there's no deed restrictions. You can buy it and sell it. You can make as much on it as you want to. You don't have to hold it a specific length of time. Some people call that seasoning. Mm-hmm. In other words, where you have to own the property for a certain length of time before you can sell it for more than X amount of profit. Right?
Right. Oh, and there's another thing with HUD, too. You've got to make sure that you are, always do business honestly and ethically. But with HUD, when you go into HUD Home Store and you're searching, make sure you choose the correct type of buyer. As far as we're concerned, we are investor buyers. So we're only going to be looking at extended properties.
That's true. There's
Separates
different
them
buyer
out.
types that
Yeah.
you bid. So make sure you bid as an investor. Now, the last thing I want to mention with HUD is there's a lot of data available. A lot of data available. One of the websites that I wanted to share with you is HUDHomeValue.com. HUD Home Value. I wasn't sure if it was singular or plural, so that's why I wanted to look it up right quick. But it's singular, HUDHomeValue.com. But you can search and find out what every HUD house has sold for is for sale for, and they even give you an idea as to what they think they will take for a HUD property. Now, I will tell you this, that part is irrelevant. Because I've seen them tell me, you're going to have to bid $200,000 on this, and we got a bid accepted for $110,000, right?
Right.
So, and I've also seen it the other way around as well.
It could go either way, but the best thing would be for people to give us a call, 877-LARRY-GO, and just get the book. Request the Digital Investors Kit sent out to your email. I can get that out. Text the word BRAG, B-R-A-G, to 803-897-6063. You could also let me know you want to take an office tour and come by and pick up the physical kit.
Thank you, Kandas, and make sure to tune in every Saturday for Bragg Radio, leading the world to be rich and generous. Larry and Kandas will show you how to invest in real estate and the many ways real estate creates the ideal investment. For more information about what Larry and Kandas talked about on today's Bragg Radio, or to get a free investor's kit, call 877-LARRY-GO, 877-527-7946. It's Bragg Radio. Be rich and generous. On News Talk 1110 99.3 WBT.